Hi, moms around the world. This is Jayde, Skye, and you're listening to the Mommy Rules the World podcast. On this episode, we're going to discuss an anonymous post live, partners helping out versus actually contributing, family drama, and $3 holler. Amanda's $3 overalls and peekaboo boobs, the popular Mommy Rules the World mom fashion trends of 2023. Make sure you tune in weekly and you're following our social media pages at Mommy Rules the World to keep updated on all events, contests, and promotions. On this episode, we have Mommy Rules the World team members Heather, Meghan, Amanda, Jessica, and my real life best friend Sarah joining me. If you're new to the podcast or Mommy Rules the World, Meghan is one of our longtime Mommy Rules the World members. She's a community manager and a close friend of mine. She's a happily married mom with a beautiful little girl and lives in South Florida. Heather is one of our Mommy Rules the World community moderators and a mom of 2 teenagers. She lives in Florida, and if you've been following our podcast, you know Heather. Jessica is joining us from Ohio for the first time on the podcast. She's a military veteran mom of 3 boys who keeps her busy coaching their soccer teams, football teams, and basketball teams. She also has an entire zoo, literally a pack of Great Danes and a bunch of cats. Amanda is our youngest team member from California. She's an adorable mom of 2 daughters and extremely fashionable. In fact, she's one of our episode topics, $3 holler fashion thrift finds. On this episode, we're going to give you a behind the scenes view into how we approve anonymous posts. Anonymous posts can be submitted as a post in our community group by sending a direct message to our public page at Mommy Rules the World, or just by simply sending a private message to me directly. As long as the post doesn't violate our basic rules for safety or the Facebook terms of service, we'll post on our public page for you and then decline your pending post. We do this to protect our members from ever having their information linked back to them. I have an anonymous post that I'm going to read, and we will discuss it as a team, just like we would do if we were to receive the post in our regular daily operations of the community. This post was submitted to me today, and I was asked to post this anonymously by a woman. Her husband made a post on his personal Facebook. It was a picture of himself and his parents, and he put the caption, "We miss you, Mom." His mom had passed away, and he shared the picture on his Facebook, and this made his family angry. He actually, it was set to a private setting, so it was only his friends that could see the post. He didn't receive any negative feedback. It was all very positive. Many people, said they miss his mom as well, that she was an amazing woman, and, just the typical post that you would see. However, he started to receive some angry texts from his dad. His dad is remarried. He was never divorced. After his mom passed away, his dad remarried. And the dad said that it makes the new wife sad. Those were the words he used. It makes the new wife sad to see pictures of his parents together. So he's posting of his mom that passed away, that he misses her. But in the picture, his dad is in the picture with his mom. And that makes the dad's new wife sad. So his dad is now upset that he won't take this post down. And I guess his new wife finds it disrespectful that this picture was posted. And now they're arguing because he won't take it down. And so the member that submitted this post to me, she's looking for some feedback. She wants to know, she's on his side. She takes her husband's side. She thinks that this post was fine. Her position is that it was fine, but she wants to know, what our opinions are and if we have any advice. And, she's just kind of venting the situation. So that's the post. And now what we would normally do is when we would get the post submitted, we have a group chat that our team shares, and we would discuss it together, make sure it doesn't violate anything. We looked for safety concerns, make sure there's no name showing, which of course I didn't share any of that information with you here. So then we would just discuss it. And what we do is literally what we're doing right now. We just talk about our thoughts and what we think about it.
I think that his dad is absolutely wrong. And his new stepmom is wrong to think that he didn't have a life before the stepmom came into play. Obviously, she's not his biological mom. And what is he supposed to do? Just forget that she ever existed or that the life that he had before she passed never happened? I could see almost if his mom was still alive, but she's passed. There's literally not even competition. Like, I think that they're being a little too um, uptight and harsh with him to expect him to take that down. Like, that's literally his mom and his dad. He has every right to post that on his page.
I agree with Heather too. I feel like there's a big difference between like a divorced situation and a death. Like, for instance, if somebody's child died, you wouldn't like their new, I guess that's not the best way to put it, worded right. Like, if you lost a child or another family member or something like that, you're not going to say, like, oh, you're paying attention to this child. You're going to still honor them. And like, if something happened to me, like, I would expect my family, even if Ryan got remarried, to be Ryan's biggest supporter. Like, they should know that I want, them happy and like to move on with life, but still remember me or remember the person that passed away or that type of thing. It's just silly to be upset about it. It's not competition.
I think there's a big difference between being hung up on an ex or an ex-wife or anything like that and having a partner that passes away, because obviously he loved her and had children with her. And I think it's ridiculous to expect those children not to miss their mom and, even for him not to miss her. But like you said, it's not a threat. It's not anything to be worried about. It's not a matter of, is he still in love with her? Does he want to be with her? I think that's, extremely, I can't even say insecure because it's so mind blowing to me that you would expect to eliminate a spouse that passed away. I mean, what are you threatened by?
I think the new stepmom needs to get over herself because what's he gonna do? Get back with her? He can't. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, and I don't even think she really realizes that she's putting a wedge between herself and those kids. And honestly, even if the dad doesn't say anything, I feel like somewhere deep down he has to have some resentment for her having those feelings too.
I think someone needs to explain to the stepmom and I mean, heck, maybe even the dad that it's a different love, right? Like the love that he had for his previous wife is completely different than the love that he has for his current wife, and that the two can actually coexist. And so maybe if the new wife was even feeling insecure that he may still love her, that's okay. He may. Grief, never really goes away. His love is always going to be there, on their anniversary and the anniversary of her death or whatnot. That's always going to be there. So that's okay if maybe she understands it's different. You can always love two different people too, So I would maybe, as the anonymous poster, maybe try to have a conversation with the stepmom if previously you had a good relationship with her and maybe try to explain that, especially with the holidays coming up, trying to smooth things over so that it's not so awkward or more estranged even.
I think the holidays in general just kind of make people crazy. We talked a little bit on a previous episode about traditions around holidays and crazy family members, and I think that in general it just makes everybody extra crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I think the stress of the holidays just adds to everybody's crazy level. I mean, I know my crazy scale has gone up this week, so I can only imagine for other people.
Yeah, I think too, like post COVID and like everybody changing things and doing things different, like the standards that get put online are so hard for some people too. And like, I don't know, I feel like it does kind of make you lose your mind a little bit, even normally sane people.
I don't know if I was ever normal or sane.
I don't think I'll ever be normal or I have too many kids to ever be sane. Speaking of insane, one of our traditions for the holidays is usually for Christmas, my mom comes to visit. And I can just tell you, I love my mom. I really do. But she is absolutely crazy over Christmas, and I never understood it. When I was a small child, she, Santa or my mom would have the entire living room full of presents. Like I couldn't even walk. I have pictures of myself as a child falling asleep trying to open the presents. It's ridiculous. And that is what my mom expects me to do for my kids. And I've always been different where I preferred experiences and, other gifts over stuff. But that's never been good enough. It has to be the stuff. Like she physically has to see, and she counts the presents and she complains if there's not enough, but there's never enough. It does not matter. I could fill up my entire downstairs from the floor to the ceiling and she would still complain that it wasn't enough. So I definitely think that the holidays brings out trauma, whether it's, the loss of someone in the family or, whatever childhood trauma they have. I think that it definitely contributes to making them crazy. And we've had so many posts right in our own community of people, I in the very beginning, I thought maybe, we should kind of pause the community group on Christmas and just let everyone be with their families, but I didn't. And that was one of our busiest weeks because everyone was venting about their crazy family members. And we've had so many posts over the years just talking about, the different traditions and the in-laws and the family members and just kind of everything being so crazy.
That's definitely where like our family struggles with things because, 10 years ago when nobody had kids in my husband's family, things were different. It was easier to get up on Christmas morning and have breakfast and do things a certain way. But now every single one of his siblings and us all have 3 kids. And all those kids want to be home and do things with their family. A couple come from a divorced situation, Ryan's sister. And we've kind of been pulling away from his family as far as the like, wake up on Christmas morning, go to their house, because it's obnoxious. Like nobody wants to freaking leave the house with little kids at 8 a.m. to go open more presents when the kids are already tired and just want to be home with their stuff. And one year, my sister-in-law's kids were like with the opposite parent on Christmas Day. So she had to go on Christmas Eve. So we were like, we can piggyback off this and we'll go on Christmas Eve too, because the kids want to be with their cousins. We went there and it was amazing in a sense for the kids of like being able to relax and open presents. And they did stuff with my mother-in-law and it was very nice. But my father-in-law threw a fit like a 5-year-old and would not open any presents from any of the grandkids because it wasn't Christmas morning. Who does that?
What? He took like a toddler fit because he couldn't open his presents on Christmas morning?
Legitimately, like put them under the tree and said, I'll open those tomorrow.
Wow. So,
That's insane.
I think for most of us, I think we can kind of agree, like once you have kids, kind of Christmas becomes about them and you open your gifts in front of them with them because they're gifts that they gave you. It's more about the experience of being with your family. So the fact that he just shoved them under the tree and was like, I'll do it tomorrow, that's crazy.
Well, and like my kids are like Ryder was like 5 when this happened. So like, how do you explain to a 5-year-old why your 6-year-old grandpa is acting this way? Because they don't understand. They don't understand why he's mad. And really, he's mad for no reason. Like we have flat out told them, like, if you want to see them on Christmas Day, come to our house. Like I smoke a brisket. We kind of just have like appetizers and hang out. But I've never not invited them or like been like, just come to our house. It makes it easier on our kids, which is what's the most important. for us.
I know we joke about that we might be related, but just hearing you saying that, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, my kids are older now, so I kind of forgot. But the fact that my mom comes and drives me crazy is totally different than how I grew up, because her mom drove her crazy in the same way you're saying. And now that I think about it, the tradition was we had to go to my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve, and she would not let anyone open a single present until it was midnight. And do you know how badly that tortured all of us? Because we have a big family, and everybody would go to my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve, like you're saying, like around dinner time. And everyone would bring all the presents for everybody, and they would pile up. Maybe that's where my mom gets the piling up presents from. And we had to sit there and look at them, and they would not allow us to open a single present until midnight because it wasn't Christmas yet. And I don't know how I blocked that out, but you made me recall one of those like core memories of trauma. So now
You can
I think,
process it, right?
yeah, I think that's part of why I don't like Christmas, because it was torture. I mean, you go there, you run around with your cousins and you see all your family, and you have to wait till midnight. And who can wait? What kid can wait till midnight? I used to fall asleep, but I was, excited too. So it was just hours and hours and hours of. Now it's, midnight's not that big of a deal. But imagine if you had to take your kids are little. Imagine you had to take your kids and sit at your in-laws' house and they couldn't touch a present until midnight.
Well, my kids, because Santa over here likes to wrap at midnight, would be, I don't even know what the heck I'd do. Like, that would be horrible.
That's how I am. Santa here wraps at midnight, and I could never.
We used
Listen.
to, you know what? I forgot this with that situation with Christmas Day. So we started doing like our Christmas Eve like the day before, so that Christmas Eve was like Christmas morning for the kids because they didn't know any better. And then his mom threw a fit that we did that, because then when we would go on Christmas Day, really it's like the day after Christmas for my kids, and they would tell my niece and nephews that. So it would cause like this whole big thing of like, why did Santa come on this night there, but this night here? And I'm like, why don't you tell them why? Like, because you're the ones making this situation. We didn't want the kids to have to rush around after Christmas morning, so it was just easier for them. But I finally got a backbone and told them no. So now we do our own thing.
Okay, that's just crazy that you had to rearrange your holidays to the point that you're celebrating the day before just to appease them. And I think that just speaks to what we're talking about, the crazy family and traditions, that we literally do rearrange our lives to make everyone happy. And I feel like no matter what you do, just like, with my mom counting the presents, it's never going to be enough. It really doesn't matter. Like you said, you went the day that they asked you to, but because you celebrated the day before with your kids, you were still the bad one.
Yeah, I feel like their generation is very much that they're not open to like accept the fact that like, yes, they're important and you want them in their lives, but they're not the ones raising like your kids. Like it's you and your spouse or partner, and that's your decision on how you do things. So when you push back, it's like they're like adult bullies. It's kind of ridiculous.
I think that's a great way to put it. I never really thought of it that way, but now I'm processing this trauma live on this podcast. You're absolutely right.
Podcast, therapy session, it's all rolled into one.
Sometimes you just have to talk it out with somebody who knows what you're talking about. So
I
And you just
wonder
saved yourself like $250 too.
$250 you're getting $250 you're getting away cheap. That's great. try having 4 kids that need therapy and times 4.
Well, I'm just talking about you. I'm not talking about, your poor children.
I don't think I could afford the type of therapist that could handle my extensive trauma. So I don't know how many zeros would be on the end of that invoice. I don't. So I promised you that we would talk about Mommy Rules the World mom fashion trends of 2023. And I know I made it sound very exciting, but this is not like your typical, magazine cover fashion trends. We're talking $3 Holler, Amanda's thrift store finds. And she's super adorable. She posted this picture of herself in these overalls. And by the way, your vibes looked like you were in an auto mechanics trade school. That's what your look went that it looks like. You asked for opinions, so there's I saved it for you. I didn't type the comment on there. I waited until the podcast so I could tell you that you look like an adorable little girl going into some auto mechanic class.
That's funny because I know nothing about cars.
Neither do most of the people that work on them. That's why they keep breaking.
That is so true. I did for like a hot second think, oh my gosh, I could totally become a mechanic just because I like put gas in my car.
So Amanda posted this picture of herself in this cute little outfit that she found at the thrift store for $3. And she got everyone all excited over this, crazy outfit of, what do you think? And I feel like we had a few posts today of just different fashion, what do you think? We had like peekaboo boobs hanging out. We had overalls and crop tops, and just it's more of a funny mom fashion show because I just feel like today that was the theme in our community. We had all these trendy mom, what do you think of this outfit type posts.
My leopard shoes were super trendy.
No, it was the mismatched socks that I totally appreciated because I think that life is too short to match socks. So I totally felt that vibe.
They were also my 10-year-old socks. So
it was the biker shorts for me because you're in Ohio where you're getting snow and it's freezing and you're in biker shorts.
Well, to be fair, it's 67 right now. We're supposed to get snow on Thanksgiving. So I still will wear shorts though. 67 is warm. Yeah. You got to think though, I lived in Alaska too. So like Ohio's hot compared to that.
Everyone listening, you will never hear those words in the same sentence ever again. Ohio is hot, because no, it's not. 67 is cold.
I literally keep our house on like 65 because I'm wearing shorts and a tank top right now and I'm hot. And I turned the heat off yesterday when it hit 60 outside.
Speaking of hot, did you see Amanda's name?
Yeah, I am totally digging it. I agree.
It is true. I am a MILF.
If you're listening and you're not looking at the video, it says Amanda is a MILF. That is her name. She branded herself. And you totally are. So it's not false advertising. You can use that.
That's my
You should definitely start hashtagging it.
Just use that as one of your hashtags. Amanda is a MILF, and it'll trend. And I'm not to be held responsible for any of the DMs you get as a result of that hashtag. That's totally on you. So enjoy.
Thank you.
Could we not update her name to Moderator MILF?
Oh my gosh.
Only if she volunteers to be the next one to get pregnant again.
I refuse. I refuse.
That's a tough.
I heard a yes. I heard a yes.
I said no. Although there is this like in astrology a thing that within a year of a death in the family, there will be a baby born. And my grandma freaking died in June.
Well, let's go. You don't have many months left.
I don't have many months.
I literally heard you just volunteer right now.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to lock me up in February because that's the only way I can. That's the only way.
Well, you better stop walking around in those jumpsuits or it's just going to happen.
Oh, yes. So sexy.
The shirt was even better. Did you guys see the shirt? I saved it. I saved that picture of the shirt because I'm going to use that as the little icon when I post this episode of the podcast. When this podcast gets posted on our website, it's going to have the icon of her shirt. Did you see the shirt?
Ringworm survivor.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
It
I
was
feel like
also
that's a shirt.
$3.
That's why you're the $3 hauler.
Yesterday, my sister and I went to a thrift store that had different deals, like prices for every day of the week. And we thought we were going on $1 Wednesday, where there's just rows of bins and everything is $1. But when we showed up, all the bins were empty and there was just racks of clothes everywhere. And it was not $1 Wednesday, it was $3 Wednesday, apparently. And so we had to make some tough decisions and put some stuff back because we were like, we're not going to spend that much money. But the ringworm survivor shirt made the cut because I could not say no to that. That was amazing.
It honestly is. I love it.
We need some better
My
thrift
favorite.
stores here because we don't have anything for $3 at ours ever.
Well, be
It was
careful
like a
what you
block from
ask for
Mexico.
because be careful what you ask for because some of the other things that she has shown us highly questionable that have come out of her thrift stores.
You are right. You are right.
Is it what Kira dressed up as for Halloween?
Yes.
Yes, that's one of them.
The Halloweeny.
Or the diary entry that we found.
Could you imagine being the person sorting that stuff? Like,
No.
I would get
I
fired
worked
because I
different
would
thrift
just be
stores.
screwing off at work.
Oh, literally.
Maybe.
See, you're lucky you have like cool thrift store finds. I live at Disney, so we have Disney thrift stores. And it's like a mix of authentic park merchandise and then all of the other, I guess, licensed or unlicensed merchandise that is in the realm of Disney that people just kind of dump in these thrift stores. And it looks like, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it, but there's some really cool things there. And then there's some really, really creepy things that are just, they're not even fun. They're not even like fun things that you want. It's just like, kind of like that episode of The Simpsons where they go to the theme park that's supposed to be the ripoff version of Disney, but it's scary. There's some really scary Disney things in there. So I would like a normal thrift store, but I guess when you live in Disney, nothing's really normal around here because I don't think it was meant for people to live here. So the people that live here are just, I don't know, really weird. You're far enough away, Heather, where you're not part of the Disney adult bubble.
Yeah, I'm
it's
just outside.
It's on a normal, just to give you an idea, like on a normal day when I go grocery shopping or if I run into Walmart, there are people, of course they're wearing all the Disney ears and everything because we're right at Disney. But I saw a man in a full Star Wars costume buying his groceries, like the mask, that whole like helmet mask head. And I'm like, can you even see out of that? And it was not like Halloween, it was not Star Wars Day, it was just a random Thursday because I have to go grocery shopping on Thursday or my kid throws a fit. It was just a random Thursday, and there he was, full Star Wars helmet and costume, buying regular food. And I was like, wow, I need to leave. I need to like leave now. Um, I took a video of it. It was hilarious, but we don't have any cool thrift stores. We just have Disney. That's all we have.
Do
There was a
people go to
man
Disney and
here.
wear regular clothes? Or is everything
Yes.
themed? Like, is that just like what tourists do?
Some people wear regular clothes. I feel like the people that live here have like their regular Disney clothes, if that makes sense. Like they have their comfortable shorts or leggings that they wear for Disney, and then probably some themed Disney shirts or I, no,
Yeah.
nobody goes in regular clothes.
I
I'm not
guess
even gonna
that's what
lie to
I'm
you.
getting at is like do like your regulars
No,
just wear regular clothes because
no,
like
no,
I
no.
don't think I'd ever get Ryan in a Disney shirt whether we lived there or not.
No, even my husband that only wears the same uniform every day, like his black t-shirt and his shorts that look exactly the same in every photo. He even has a Mickey Mouse t-shirt and a Star Wars t-shirt. So no, like everybody here, I'm not even gonna lie to you, they're just full-blown Disney adults.
Yeah, I
And
even have gotten TJ into a Mickey shirt. He has another shirt that's Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. And I mean, TJ is definitely not you know, the Disney freak, but yeah, I can get him in it too when he goes. Nobody goes in like regular clothes. You have some sort of something Disney on
yeah,
when you go.
even if you're wearing, like, even on the really hot days, if you're just wearing like shorts and a tank top, like normal clothes, I guess, that you still have either like the Loungefly backpack or the ears or something. I want to lie to you and tell you, yes, it's normal, but it's not. Nothing here is normal. They're, no, they
It's a
go
cult.
in, yes. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I literally packed up my kids and moved them into the Disney cult.
It took us like years to just get into Christmas pajama mode, so I don't think Disney shirts would happen.
You know, we were
You
talking
say that
about,
until you go.
yeah, it happens to you. You think you're never going to be that person, and then you're that person. And we were talking about, you know, holiday trends and traditions, rather, holiday traditions. And I actually take my kids to Disney for Christmas, and we do you know, the candy apples and the snacks and you know, we stay at the resorts and we look at all the decorations and the giant gingerbread houses. And yes, it will consume your life. Even if you do not mean it to happen, it will happen. So I'm probably one of those crazy, my family probably refers to me as the crazy relative that lives at Disney. So I'm probably the topic in somebody's crazy relative story. So I don't know if that answers your question, but no, no one here is normal.
Well, we're going to Legoland we'll be there for New Year's Eve. So I don't, obviously that's a lot smaller than Disney, but not sure how all you Floridans are.
I think people go to Legoland in normal clothes. It's a smaller park, so it's great for the little kids. But you'll see everybody in their Disney stuff. Like I said, you just go to the grocery store; they're there, full Star Wars uniforms. You know, look like they just stepped off the Death Star.
Yeah, when we went to Legoland, Sean was in Lego inspired stuff, and I think I put Taya in something that had Legos on it. And yeah, but I'm also that mom, so you know, there's that too.
Like matching shirts are very popular. You'll see the whole family in matching shirts. Usually they'll say like mom, dad, you know, brother, sister, and they have like the Mickey Mouse on them. Or they'll have some kind of matching stuff or something or other. But it's pretty much exactly what you see on the internet is what you see walking around. Well, you know, I post my videos all the time. That's exactly what it looks like. It's not
I
just,
did get
you know, just
them matching shirts. The kids have matching shirts that we gave them when we gifted this to them. So I guess they have one matching Lego shirt.
well, if you come more than once, you'll find yourself getting more matching shirts. And before you know it, you'll have a section in your closet, like I do, of like, you know, theme park clothes.
Mhm.
And then when you outgrow or when they outgrow all those clothes, they'll end up in the $3 thrift store.
And then Amanda will have all of those clothes.
And then I will have them happily.
It's adorable how small you are.
I think I bought children's pajamas the other day and they fit just fine.
Yeah, my 11-year-old's currently mad because I can wear his shirt and shoes. So
Oh, Sean thinks it's great that he and I can like share shoes now, and that he is almost as tall as I am. He thinks he's just hot stuff right now.
Well, my teenagers, they love to go shopping in my closets. They just, you know, they treat it like a shopping mall. And I heard them in there. They were giggling. They were pulling all these things out. They were like, you know, this fits them. They were so excited that fit them. And I was like, oh, look, my kids are finding stuff in my closet. And then they came out and they were like, it's better than thrift shopping. And my whole just everything just sunk inside of me. I'm like, my kids just treated my clothes like a thrift store. So all that excitement that Amanda's getting for finding those ridiculous items is what I experienced when my kids went in my closet and they took my regular clothes and thought it was, their thrift store finds.
You better put like a $5 sign up or something, make some money off them.
The money I'm making is that I don't have to actually go to the mall and buy them new things, so I'm okay with it. But I don't like when they refer to it as thrift stores.
It's girl math. You're just saving money by them shopping in your closet.
Exactly. And then I can go buy new things and I can convince myself that I'm going to have the new things, but in reality, they're going to take those as well because I don't think I have anything in this house that is just mine anymore. I don't know if that happens, if it's just girls. I don't know if that happens to everybody, but I feel like even if I go in my bathroom and look for, I was looking for just, yesterday at my perfume that was on my sink, that's always been on my sink in the same spot, and it was just gone, like magically just disappeared. And I went into everyone's bathroom looking for it and it's gone. So everything I have is just like community property.
It's in somebody's gym bag.
Yes, speaking of community property, partners that help out, doing the shared household tasks. So, we live in this situation where most parents, in the two-parent home are working and taking care of kids in their house, or even if you're a stay-at-home mom and you have a partner that works, you have a shared workload here. But then there are all these tasks that should be shared, and the partner wants all this recognition. There was an article about it in CNN, and it was interesting to see that there's been some content creators that have made videos about this, and it's very interesting. And if you think about it, it's interesting to see, where does the workload fall? Because I feel like no matter what we do as far as working inside the home, outside the home, stay-at-home mom, I feel like all of the household and kid responsibilities fall on mom. Like it's just our expectation.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's actually one of the very few things that TJ and I argue about when we argue. We've been married for 20 years, so it's not often that we argue. But when we do, it's usually about something like this where, I do probably 95% of the housework. And when he helps, he'll help. And sometimes he'll do it and I don't have to say anything. And then there are times where he does it and he's like, hey, I helped you out. I did, I unloaded the dishwasher or I washed the dishes and I'm like, did you help me or did you just wash the dishes? Because, when I wash the dishes, ain't nobody saying, good job, thank you. It's just, you wash the dishes, you did the laundry, you clean the bathrooms, and I think that society just expects those household chores to just automatically fall to the female role in the relationship. And I don't think that it really should be, especially if both partners are working outside of the house. I think that, it should be more evenly split, but I just don't think that that's just how society is right now.
Yeah, the article made this interesting point. It was if the parents of the partner come to the house and unannounced and just knock on the door and the house is a mess, who are they going to blame that on? And the general consensus was that the mom is going to be looked down on as, she doesn't keep the home or she didn't, keep things clean or she's not clean or she's dirty or, whatever the case may be, because the society expectations are that the mom is going to keep the house, even if she works, two jobs or, 80 hours a week or whatever the case may be. It really is just looked at as her job. And if her partner helps her, he's helping her, or she's helping her. It's the help. And it really shouldn't be help. It should be, oh great, you did dishes. Well, did you eat? it's not help, it's you're contributing, you're being a functioning adult, and you're washing a dish that either you or your kids used. Because when I do dishes, I just do all of the dishes in the sink because that's what you do. I don't expect a praise for it, and I don't expect, you don't expect me to praise you for helping. I think that's a great topic, because I think a lot of people feel that way.
I think another aspect of it too that doesn't necessarily fit into like the housework aspect of things, because Ryan is very good about helping with that type of stuff, and more so in the fact of delegating things to the kids, so that they don't have that perspective of like, oh, my wife has to do this or that or this or that, whatever. But I had an IEP meeting at the school last week, and an interesting point got brought up. And I said, like, if I was ever in an accident or something, I don't think Ryan would even know our kids' teachers. I don't even know if he knows what freaking grade they're in. Like, and same with like the doctors, like, with Riley's medical stuff, like he would not be able to schedule a doctor's appointment. He doesn't know who any of his doctors are if something happened. And that's a whole nother side of that, like expectation of like, a couple of the teachers were like, you know what, I don't think my husband could either because I'm a teacher. So he's like, oh, you can, you handle school stuff or you handle this or that. And it's just, I don't know how to fix that at some point.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, like as much as there was that women's movement and progression to allow women into the workforce, the mental aspect of everything is still stuck in the 50s, where the women are still responsible for the home, the children, the doctor's visits and things like that. Like thankfully with TJ's profession, I default that and like the medical stuff to him. Obviously I still know their doctors and their appointments and things like that, but typically he takes them because otherwise he asks me 10,001 questions and I don't have the answers. But yeah, like the schools and the grades and the teachers, and even he's joked and he's like, if the school ever called me, I'd be like, why are you calling me? I don't know anything. Call the wife, like he'll even joke. But it's true, the dads don't know, and I don't think it's necessarily their fault. It's just that everybody just defaults to the mom just automatically.
Yeah, that's what I don't necessarily think it's Ryan's fault that he doesn't know either, but it's just, it's kind of like, God forbid there ever was an emergency, then what? Like, how would that get handled, or what would he do? Like, really, it's kind of setting him up to fail in the big picture of it.
I think another aspect of that is, not only do we have the in the home kind of domestic tasks, and not only do we have the kids and their doctor's appointments and their school, but just the kind of the kids in general and getting them around to the different places they need to be. I know for me, I have to kind of mentally manage where everyone is all of the time and where everyone needs to be. I feel like I'm constantly, we do have a family calendar that we share, but I feel like my brain is the calendar. And I always need to make sure, if my daughter has work, I'm making sure that I'm up to wake her up on time. If my other daughter has work, I'm making sure that she gets there on time. If, my other daughter has a practice or a game or, whatever it is, I feel like I'm constantly managing their schedule. And I just don't feel like anyone outside of the mom role is really responsible for being the manager. Like essentially I'm like the project manager, and then I also have to make sure that all the tasks get done. And I think that's what you were talking about, Heather, with the mental load. Because just to give you an example, it was hilarious, but um, I sent Josh to go pick Hazy up because her practice was, it ended early. So I sent him to go pick her up as I was still working. And he gets there, and the where the school's located, there's another school close by, and the parents are absolutely ridiculous, and they park all over the street instead of a car loop. That's a whole other topic. I won't mundane you with car loop complaining, but he went to another location to meet with her. And instead of calling her to tell her, hey, I'm over here, can you come over here? he let me know that he was there. And then I had to facilitate between the two of them instead of the two of them talking to each other. And I'm like, this is definitely like a mom task. Why am I being the facilitator? Why am I managing your communication? Like that, you have phones, you could talk to each other. But I think that's, for me, that's just a recent example of, even though I didn't go pick her up, I still had to facilitate the entire thing. And it's frustrating.
I've been in that exact same situation. Mm-hmm. It is. It's frustrating. It's like, why am I the middleman? You guys literally have phones. You're talking to me on that phone. Just talk to each other. Why do I have to be involved?
Or you feel like maybe I should have just done it to make it easier and not have to deal with this back and forth. That's my
Yes.
problem.
I do that a lot. And I think a lot of moms do that. And I think that's why we find ourselves in these constant cycles of doing everything, because it's just easier. You know, if I have to explain to you how to do something and I have to make sure that you do it correctly, I might as well just do it myself. And it's faster.
Yep. That I feel like that happens like 5 days a week here at least, because even little things like go get this at the grocery store, like you shouldn't have to call me 3 times when I send you for 2 things at the store.
Yeah, I don't let Josh go grocery shopping at all. I don't let him do laundry. Sometimes I'll allow him, I mean, he can do his own laundry if he wants. I usually do ours together, but he can do his own laundry if he needs to wash something. If sometimes I will be okay with him doing towels or blankets. But when it comes to clothes, it's just so much easier for me to just do it instead of having to, manage or even micromanage how it's being done, because I just feel like it's one of those things that, like you're saying, it's just better for me to just do it. Although I do have to say, he's great about making sure, like you said, the delegation, he will make sure the kids' laundry when it's done, because I'll wash it and dry it. He will make sure that it gets brought up to each of their rooms, and then he follows up and kind of make sure that they put it away. So I, give him credit for that. He's good at delegating things out to the kids. I think that probably it's just natural for them to delegate, where we just take it on and do it ourselves. Maybe we're part of the problem.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
feel like it is
definitely
a
think
little
I'm
bit.
part of the problem.
I think it's just because we all just have that personality to just do it instead of telling someone else. I don't know. I can't
I don't
even
know
let
if it,
my kids put their own laundry away because I have to have it in color order.
I did when my
My
kids were
closet's
little,
that
but
way.
yeah, I did when my kids were little, but I cannot do that anymore. They're teenagers, and I was joking on another episode about how they just whip the things out and throw it over their head, and that's literally what they do. So, yeah, I can't. I used to when they were little. I can't do it anymore. It's just too much work. Um, but yeah, I don't know if it's just our personality types, but I feel like maybe just moms in general just take things on. Every once in a while, I'm surprised because we'll see a post in the group where they're like, "Oh, I make my kid do that," or my kid does this or that, and I'm like, do your kids actually do that? Can you get them? Can you delegate things out? Because I can't see me doing it.
I know
It's just like, did
I
they
have
do it or did they do it right? That's my thing. Because I can't, if you're just gonna do it, halfway, like just don't, because I'll do it. To me, that's why I have trouble asking my kids to do something, because it's like I just have to follow up behind them and do it anyways. So I'm getting frustrated because they didn't do it right, and now I'm frustrated again because I have to do it. So I could have saved myself the frustration.
When my girls were little, I would spend hours in their rooms organizing their toys. And they had like these buckets of, I used to call them buckets of BS, because they had all these toys. And nothing was worse. Anyone that has little kids, you can probably relate to this. Nothing was worse than when I would clean the entire house, wash the floors, get everything spotless, and then my daughter would come out with this big smile on her face, pushing that little shopping cart full of all the fake food. And I knew that was like the beginning of the end of my clean house, because she would just push that cart out and all the stuff inside of it that would just go everywhere.
Do not miss those days of a bunch of little toys.
I would like to say those days are over for me. However, my 17-year-old has more toys in her room than, like, my 11-year-old is done with toys. She had like her last toys and she got rid of them. And she told me, she's like, no, I'm too big for toys. But my 17-year-old has boxes and boxes of toys. She has, all of her Hot Wheels cars. She has just toys, like actual toys all over her room. Well, thank you, Heather, Meghan, Amanda, Jessica, and Sarah for joining us on this episode. And please make sure that you are following Mommy Rules the World. You can find all of our podcast episodes on mommyrulestheworld.com/podcast.